What's going on, guys? Brad Messersmith here with Slurve.com. I'm here bringing you another GPP plays and strategy video. This week we're going to be talking about the AT&T Byron Nelson. First, let's talk a little bit about last week at the Players' Championship. Obviously, Jason Day took it down. He went wire to wire, really convincing win. We talked last week in the beginning of my video about the tendency for top golfers to miss the cut. That all played out exactly the way we expected it to. We had Ricky Fowler, Phil Mickelson, Jordan Spieth, Henrik Stenson, Danny Willett all missed the cut last week. Unfortunately, we didn't pick the right guys. That's part of what goes along with living the GPP life. You can expect to lose most weeks, but the weeks that we do win, we want to rake in all the cash, take down all the GPPs. So let's move on to this week at the AT&T Byron Nelson. We're going to be running through some guys that I like from top to bottom, couple of sleepers. Starting off this week, I really like Dustin Johnson at 11,900. He comes in quite a bit below Jordan Spieth this week in the salary range. Dustin Johnson's recent form is just incredible. He's got 4 top 10s in the last 6 starts, and his course history here is incredible as well. He's got 4 top 10s and 5 appearances at the Byron Nelson. I really like Dustin Johnson. If Jordan Spieth, Ricky Fowler, or Jason Day had this type of form, they would probably be over 13,000 with this combination of recent form and course history. Dustin Johnson's putting is what tends to scare people off of him, but we have seen guys like Sergio, we've seen guys like Stephen Bowditch, lots of guys who have had sort of the label of bad putter associated with them win this tournament, so I'm not so worried about the putting this week. I think Dustin Johnson's going to win this year on tour, and I think if there was an event that I would pick, this would be one of the top ones for him to take down. So look for him to do well this week. Moving on, we've got Brooks Koepka at 9,600. Last week he reached his season low in salary and ownership. I am going to be looking to take advantage of that. He's got 5 top 25s this season. I really expect him to be a winner on tour this season as well. He hasn't quite got there yet. We haven't really exactly seen the top 5 and winning upside in Brooks Koepka just yet, but it's just around the corner. I really do expect him to perform well down the stretch this season. And if you'll remember last season, he went on a stretch starting at actually the AT&T Byron Nelson is where it started, where he went 9 for 9 in cuts made and had I think 4 or 5 top 10s in that stretch. He really just went off down the stretch in the season last year. So hopefully we'll be able to get on him before everyone else is and look for him to make that same run this year. Next up, we've got Scott Piercy at 8,000. I think at 8,000, Scott Piercy is going to go fairly overlooked this week, but he has in 4 of his last 5 events, he's got top 30 or better. He has a really high birdie or better percentage for golfers in the 8K salary range, which is a stat I'm going to be looking at pretty heavily this week. That combined with the fact that I think his ownership will stay fairly low leaves me really carefully considering Scott Piercy in my GPP lineups this week. Next up, going down quite a bit in salary, we've got Andrew Loup at 6,600. Andrew Loup has shown really incredible upside, which is what we're looking to target in GPPs. When he does make a cut, he averages almost nearly a 15th place finish. So we can't expect him to make cuts every week, but when he does, we can expect him to exhibit some fairly high upside, which is just a perfect GPP play. One thing is, statistically, when he makes cuts, his green and regulation percentage is about 15 points higher than when he misses cuts. This is a fairly straightforward course, and we've seen a lot of first timers and new players who don't have a lot of experience on this course do very well. So I think green and regulation should be fairly easy to come by. So for all of those reasons, I'm going to be looking at Andrew Loup at 6,600 to exhibit that top 15 upside. And last but not least, we've got Alex Cechka at 6,800. It may surprise you to know that he is 20th in all-around rankings. He's above Bubba Watson, Hideki, and CH3. All-around ranking is typically a list of pretty solid guys. So when you look at Alex Cejka being 20th in that list, he's among some of the better golfers in the world. So, you know, just something to keep in mind. I think Alex Cejka at 6,800 is going to basically be completely underowned. He probably won't be owned at all, really. I mean, his course history is pretty atrocious. I'm going to chase his 9th place finish from last week at the Players while he's hot. Like I said, basically, I think he's going to be pretty ignored, so you don't necessarily have to go all in on Alex Cejka to reap the rewards if he does continue to be hot. I'll have him probably in 15 to 20% of my lineups, maybe less, depending on how my lineup construction shakes out. But look to target Alex Cejka for some upside and try and get him while he's hot. So that's basically it this week. If you guys have any questions or any other golfers you want to ask about, you can reach me on Twitter at Brad Messersmith. That's Messer Smith. And as always, you guys should go and check out the expert chats on slurv.com. There's some really incredibly smart and sharp golf players that are going to be in those expert chats talking about their lineup construction, their own GPP plays. There'll be some cash game consideration and lots of different exciting topics to be talked about in the Slurv chats. So don't forget to swing on over there and interact with the experts in each of those chats. I'll be in one talking again about GPP strategy and how we're going to be building lineups this week. Thanks again, and good luck this week, guys. Thanks for listening.